Alright, so I got the Blade MSR, August 27th, 2009. Came into the hobby shop a lot earlier than I thought it was going to. Now I've got the Blade MCX sitting next to it for a couple reasons. I'll show you the size difference, which actually the Blade MSR and MCX are pretty much the same size. But the MCX transmitter, as well as the Blade CX2, CX3, some planes like the Park Zone Ember 2 or the Park Zone Vapor, if you have any of those in the ready-to-fly version, their transmitter will work with the Blade MSR. There are also other transmitters out there from planes and helicopters that I didn't list. Pretty much any DSM-2 transmitter will work. And if you have the money, of course a DX6i or DX7 is best. But if you have a ready-to-fly DSM-2 aircraft, you can use the transmitter. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the Blade MSR here. We'll go through what's in the box, and I'll show it and then bind it and take a test flight. Now in the box, you do not get any main rotors as backup, but you do get a spare tail rotor, you get a fly bar, you get a swash plate tool, screwdriver, a couple little rubber stoppers, and it's about all the extra parts you get. Of course, you get the instruction manual. There's no DVD with this like came in lots of the other Blade helicopters. So no instructional DVD, but you do get the instruction manual. There's an AC adapter which plugs in to the 4-port LiPo charger. And this thing's great. Anyone that has an MSR, an MCX or other Blade helicopters or other helicopters that are one cell, they usually come with these 1-port AA battery chargers. And you know, I kind of like these because you can take them with you and you can charge anywhere because they're battery powered chargers, but it is a pain to replace the batteries all the time. So now with the MSR you get a 4-slot charger that plugs into the wall. So that's really nice to charge all your batteries at home. It'll work with any 3.7 volt 1-cell LiPo. You get 2 batteries with your MSR. I have one actually charging over in the MCX's charger. But you get 2 batteries, and they're 120 mAh 14C lithium polymer batteries. So they have more power, 14C instead of 10C of the Blade MCX, and they also have more milliamps, 120. So you have a little bit more flight time off this battery than you would off a 110 milliamp or a 100. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in the battery and show the binding process now. Let's see if I can get my camera here to cooperate. Alright, so we have the Blade MCX transmitter here, and I'm going to show you how to bind it. First thing we're going to do is plug in the battery to the MSR. Plug in the battery, and then you slide the battery into the bottom here, all the way up. I thought initially that this is where it was supposed to go. It's actually supposed to slide all the way in, and that's where the center of gravity is correct. So you slide the battery as far in as it'll go until this plastic hits this plastic. Now it's in bind mode. As you can see, it's blinking. So now we got to turn on the transmitter in bind mode. And how you do that with the MCX transmitter is you push in on this left knob, and it'll click in. Then you turn on the transmitter, and after you do that, you slide this knob down to the bottom and let go of it. Now it's in bind mode, and within 5 seconds it should bind to the helicopter. There we go, the helicopter's light with solid, and now we have control of the helicopter with the Blade MCX controller. Alright, so let's do our first flight with it. I'm going to talk a little bit over here about the differences in this and the MCX. For any beginners out there that have had the MCX, you know that when it flies, it stays pretty stable. It just kind of goes around the room. With a single rotor helicopter, the helicopter moves more by tipping. So when you fly forward, your helicopter is going to tip forward and take off. Now the thing is, unlike the Blade MCX or the Blade CX 1, 2, or 3, it's going to want to keep going in the way that you tell it to go. So you have to correct it by giving it a little bit of backward or opposite thrust so it'll level out again. And you'll see how that works when I take it off here. set up. Alright, so the first flight on the Blade MSR. First off, I'm just going to do a little bit of trimming. It's first flight, so I need to do a little bit of trimming, make it work level. Usually you'll have to do this on a new helicopter. You just take off and you kind of see which way the helicopter is swaying without any input. And then you give trim in the opposite direction and it corrects that. So I'm moving a little bit to the left, so I'm putting in right trim. And now we're almost good, I think. Let me get it up in the air here in front of us and I'll show you how well it hovers with no input. Is it up in the camera? Alright. Turn it around here. Let me just get it in the middle and then I'll try not to do any too quick movements. I want to, not crash this on the first day. Here we go. Oh. All I'm doing is controlling the throttle a little bit right now. Oh, moving backwards into there. Oh, okay, I crashed. And it's actually good that I crashed during this video because just like the MCX, the MSR is supposed to be very durable. It's a very light helicopter. So if you crash it, you're very likely that you don't do any damage. Now you do want to make sure if you're going to crash to turn off the rotor. If you look like you're going to hit a wall or hit some furniture, turn off that top rotor so you don't have power going through it, as that could cause a lot more damage if the rotor's going. Alright, so let me try to get a hover in here and then I'll do some move around the room. Alright, there we go. Pretty good hover here. Completely hands off. Is it going off the screen? Yeah, there it is. Too much throttle, but there we go. Completely hands off. And, it's staying pretty still. It's moving a little bit. I just took it out of the box and I haven't trimmed it much. But for just out of the box, untrimmed, this is hovering pretty amazingly. No input at all. Give it a little more throttle. It's falling. There we go. Very nice, holds very still. So now, like I told you with the flight, if you move forward, it tips, as you can see. It's going to keep wanting to go. Oh, I went the wrong way. Again, crashes happen. So let's hope I don't do that again during this video. Like I said though, the durability is very good. So in some ways I'm happy I crashed it to show you guys the durability of this thing. After a crash, takes right off, flies perfectly again. Now I'm an intermediate pilot, I'm not advanced. I can fly my Blade CP outside pretty good, but I can't do any aerobatics with a helicopter. But as you can see, it's real easy just to coast around the room. We can do some backwards flight here. I'm trying to do real slow stick movements because first flight, I don't want to wreck it on the first flight. But it's very good. Stick movements are very accurate. They're, very responsive. Even from the Blade MCX controller, I'm not even using like a DX6i or anything. Try to bring it down here and just land on the table smoothly. I don't think you can see it. I landed behind where you could see on the camera, I think. There we go. So yeah, this is a wonderful little helicopter. As you saw, I crashed 2 times since flying it just now. No damage. It hovers amazingly. I really don't know what else to say other than buy it. It's really an amazing little helicopter from what I could tell so far. It's a lot of fun. And this thing, I am not pushing it at all. If you're an advanced pilot and really good on helicopters, you can make this thing zip around the room like crazy fast. I'm pretty sure, I think the guy at the hobby store said it can go like 20 miles an hour. It can go really quick if you give it full stick. To go forward here, I'm just barely tapping it forward. I'm not giving it very much forward thrust at all. I'm just kind of easing it around the room. So if you're an advanced pilot, you could really fly this thing really good. Now this would be a great helicopter to move up from the Blade MCX. And it'd also be a great helicopter just to learn a single rotor on. Because like you saw, I crashed it and there was no damage. Whereas with a larger helicopter like a Blade CP or any of the larger helicopters, if you crash them, you could do a lot of damage and spend a lot of money repairing them. So this gives you a little bit more forgiveness. Now I'm at 10 minutes, so I gotta go. Thanks for watching.